Good morning to all the respected speakers and dignitaries and people attending here for the seminar. A very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to start with a concept called, if an entity has to exist, certain rituals have to exist more established than the established entity. For us human beings, we exist because there are certain established rituals which is existing to make us exist. Like for instance, our circulatory system, our nervous system, and our so many systems. Heartbeat is a ritual. If it stops, the entity stops. Religion, for that matter, every religion has certain things which we can pinpoint. Okay, this is the ritual which is sacrosanct for that religion. If that ritual is not allowed to be done, or is stopped, or recedes, that religion takes back. The same is with democracy. If democracy is a religion, if democracy is an established entity, then it established rituals has to be practiced, and practiced as per the norms. And electioneering and election or voting or polling is the greatest and the most important ritual for democracy. After that comes, you can say, governance, rule of law, economy, whatever blah blah you can say. But if and until that established ritual of electioneering is not established per se as per the book, textbook, democracy is not going to survive as an established entity. That is what I am to say. What is the importance of that electioneering? And for that entity to exist, there are certain multi-pronged aspects which help that entity to survive. A heart is not only beating just because heart is beating. There are so many correlative factors associated with heart for that heart to beat. Like Professor Saab said about the role of police. Police is one of the most important aspects for electioneering. It has to be there. And policing is not the only thing which takes an election to be an election and makes an election to be a non-election. There are other bodies also involved in the election. The executive magistrates, the police, the civil society, you people, the Election Commission of India, the media, and the common man. They are all stakeholders. Multiple stakeholders are involved in this election. And if multiple stakeholders are involved, that entity cannot fail. But most of the time, the beauty of election is that this is perhaps one of the few rare instances in which the concept of too many cooks is spoil the broth doesn't appear to be true. In fact, it aids in making the soup much tastier and better. So, I will start with the role of police since the time is very less. As per the Election Commission of India, if you go to their website or to their official documents, they designate election into 3 phases. Like the child phase, the youthful phase and the matured phase. So, apne ko, what we feel is that the pre-poll phase, what they call it, is the youthful phase. The poll phase is the marriage phase. And the post-poll, maybe divorce can happen. Lot of things happen after the post-poll. So this 3 phase, the police has been given the task officially by Election Commission of India. I am not adding any to it. Pre-poll means before the announcement of the poll also, a police department or any department knows that this year the election is going to be held. Like for instance, Karnataka. We all know Karnataka is going to poll. Whether the Election Commission, when it will announce the date, that is up to them. But before that, the preparation starts. So according to me, I have divided into 4 phases. Pre-poll into 2 phases. That is, before the announcement of the poll schedule, we as a department silently walk out. Walk out what? Like you said, the details, the research. We make a lot of efforts in garnering the old data. जैसे होते हैं ना, पुरानी जो किताबें हैं उसको झाड़ पोंछ के निकालते हैं, भाई निकालो क्या क्या है. So we go into the details of past history of the constituency. The sensitivity factor we call it. And in police there is 3 trichotomy: normal, sensitive, hypersensitive. हम लोग इसको 3 चीज में बांट देते हैं अमूमन. तो ये पहले from the beginning we start analyzing constituency wise and then constituency booth wise, which is a normal, which is sensitive, and which is hyper. And based on that, we start planning our manpower details. This is one aspect. How many forces will be required? How many local forces we will get? How many outside forces we will get civil? And how many armed police or central paramilitary forces will be given? That exercise is totally done silently before when the election starts. Okay. Then second is about those people who will violate this sanctity of elections. The troublemongers. The troublemongers list, which has already been in circulation for the last 10 years, or other general elections or normal elections, state elections, we dust out and see whether they are still under good conduct or not. That hunting starts. And we take the provisions of law under CRPC 107 to 110, in which we bound them again for good behavior. This pre-poll takes place. Then the depositing of the weapons. No licenses can be allowed once the election is started, but as a police department, we stop it before the schedule also starts. And we start taking stock of the weapons. Who are the license holders? We start renewing them, then we start depositing them in the armory. So this takes place silently. A lot of works takes place silently. Then the booths, the building inspections, whether it will be security-wise correct or not. As an urban person, most of the time, we analyze elections and see elections only from our urban perspective. But if you go to the Naxal affected areas, you have to see the booth also comes into the picture whether the election will be peaceful or not. The mere geographical presence of a booth determines whether an election is going to be peaceful or not. That somehow we miss as an urban entity. So that also comes into how far the main road to the interior village the boothing takes place, how far is it, whether there is a road or not, how the polling material will go there, what is the way to do it, who are the people who will help us, and who are the specialized forces that they will carry. So these are all things that has worked out in detail before we come into the picture. So this is the pre-poll. Now let me tell you about the poll process. In the pre-poll, I forgot to mention, once the election is announced, our three roles are very, very important, critical. One is the control over the excise inflow-outflow. In coordination with the excise department and executive magistrate, that the collectorate and the police, they decide whether the lot of influx of excise is coming in or out. Liquor. Yeah. Then border checkposts. If you have a state border, you have to coordinate with the border next state. Like when I was in Anandpur SP, when Karnataka election was going in 2013, I was there. So they called us for a meeting, neighboring district SPs, and we planned them and we helped them. A lot of people from Anandpur go to Karnataka for voting. A lot of people, bad elements also goes from here to there. So it's a cross-border maintenance of policing on the border. That is also very important. Then there is a question of law and order issues. Every day Election Commission has a pre-designated form in which they ask number of incidents, law and order, political, whether it is reported or not, how the executive magistracy and police has dealt with them. Second aspect, then third is the implementation of the model code of conduct. That is very, very important. It sets the tone on the polling day. If somebody is allowed to violate a model code of conduct and somebody is not allowed to, it marks the prospect of the entire election. And model code of conduct is a very, very, you can say, a 3-4 page document, but the intensity is very, very high. If you allow somebody to have 4 vehicles and somebody to have 1 vehicle, then the voters are swept by the mere presence of 4 vehicles. Like in a nomination process, you cannot allow more than 1 plus 4, candidate plus 4 person or 3 vehicles. In that, if the police fails in its duty, then that what you call the impact, the domineering aspect of a party or a party A is felt in the entire constituency. If someone like who is coming with the interview, you must be familiar with Bollywood movies. Earlier they used to see Rajkumar entering with shoes only, white shoes and the sound of that boot. We don't want in that election. We don't want drama. We don't want Ekta Kapoor type of electioneering. It has to be a perfect professional exercise in which theatrics don't matter. Substance matters. So if you allow somebody to come with a lot of vehicles like they see in the movie, And those people, either they are coming with 1 or 2 small ambassadors, it is gone. Your election is gone out of your hand. So this is what pre-election, pre-polling exercise matters a lot. So they say that the soldiers who sweat it out during the peace time bleed less during the war time. That precisely holds for elections. If we sweat it out in the pre-poll, definitely your marriage is going to be successful. Definitely everything is going to be successful. So we work much more in pre-poll time rather than on post-poll day. Post-poll day is all about moving from one place to another. The process itself is so complicated and so complex that you won't get time to start a new thing. Somewhere the election agents are having some issues. Somewhere the voters are concentrating. Somewhere some law and order issues have taken place. Somewhere some scrolling is coming which is disturbing the sentiments. So these are things on poll day you take care of. Police is running from pillar to post on poll day. But if you have made out your exercise very well during the pre-poll period, then rest assured you will just simply sit in the control room and take stock of everything. In this, I will tell you, general elections are more tiring than by-elections. For the simple reason that in by-election, you have huge disposal of force at your command. Karnataka can send to Telangana, Telangana can send to Andhra. But in general elections, everybody is busy. It's like in a marriage season, try finding a marriage hall. Everybody is getting married. No hall is empty. You have to book 6 months before. So, in general election, you have to prepare much in advance to requisition your force, your infrastructure, your logistics. Because everybody is going through that process. Nobody is coming to help you. You are your own help. So, if you have planned properly in which constituency you have to dump more forces, which booth you have to do more forces, rest assured things will go very well. But if you have not done your job properly, either deliberately or by mistake, things are going to turn out very bad. That's why Central Armed Reserves, a definition of Election Commission is very different. They cannot be involved in law and order. They have to be involved in the only marriage process, that is electionary, guarding the polling booth, guarding the EVM, guarding the strong room where the ballots are kept, then counting room, and then counting the 100 meters of the area of the polling booth. These are especially related to that specific performance of electioneering, not law and order. If somewhat happens 1 kilometer away, some law and order issue occurs, local police has to take care, because that may be a diversionary tactics also to take away the force. So our entire election process depends upon planning in the pre-poll. Post-poll is only about deployment and managing from the control room. Post-poll is about asking the people whether the sentiments of the people are in conformity with the result in some sections. Sometimes some surprise happens, so you have to keep prepared for the victory processes. Victory processes are very important part of policing during the election. Most of the victory procession goes through the routes of the constituency or areas where the defeated candidate population is more. That can create a lot of ruckus and hard points and the slogan shouting. So police has to be pakka. Even after the elections, maybe the counting takes place after 1 month in general election. You have to guard the strong room every day, see that no manipulation takes place. And still after 1 month, we have to see that counting happens. So these are post-poll scenarios. So I've talked about the operational part of policing, how policing is done. Then there is a vulnerability mapping, which I call sensitive, hypersensitive. These are all electional jargons which we only call as sensitive, hypersensitive and normal. But I will come to 3 points which I feel is more important for the audience. What is the lesson? My topic was the policing, the role of police in elections, lessons, challenges and future. So I will concentrate on lesson first. Personally, I am speaking on my personal capacity, which I have learned, unlearned, and which I am able to present before you. I may be totally off the mark, but this is what I have learned, the lessons from elections. It is not a black swan event. It is going to repeat repeat itself again and again. Better be prepared for it. As a police officer, if you lack in election management, if you lack in doing elections or conducting elections, you are not going to be a good police officer. It will come after every 5 years, it may come after every 2 years. So better be prepared for it. That the policing machinery has to be prepared and geared up to face elections, and elections come every time. If not in your area, then you will be asked to deploy your force to other areas. So the police leadership should prepare the police permanently for election management. That talent and that training should be there. This is what, it's not a black swan event. Second, as I said, this is perhaps the only place where multitasking, multi-management and multi-solidarity is there. Our SP has to be good at books with collector, collector has to be good with SP, then we have to be good with excise commissioner, then you have to be good with observer, civil society, not media, everybody has to know their role. Nobody can jump the gun to take credit. So if that happens, you learn a lot of multitasking and respecting the others' boundaries, their limitations. Election teaches you about your own limitations and about the others' limitations. So I feel that too many cooks does not spoil the broth. This is what I have learned. It's an art. Third thing which I feel as a lesson which I have learned from elections is it is not a slog over concept. Like nowadays you see in cricket, last 5 overs they take all the things which they have missed in last 10, 15, 40. It's not like that. Election is not a heroism. We are doing a professional duty. It's a test match. You build up innings from the very beginning. Once you have built up the inning, you can take, but no need to take slog. Your inning will come to a decent total if you have started well. And the midway, the poll date will come, the polling day, you will play well, with lots of wickets intact. Then, cog in the wheel concept. A lot of people, especially in police, in other bureaucracy, they feel that they are the one who conducts the election. They feel that because of them, the election is successful. They are the ones who present the cake and eat it and distribute it to their own, saying that it is because of we that election has come to such a good, peaceful. It's not like that. We are all cogs in the great wheel. Our function is limited to the role that has been prescribed by the Constitution, by the Election Commission of India, by the natural process of rule of law. Like a police, we have no role in deciding how electoral rolls will be prepared, how it will be revised. We have no role. How it has to be managed, we have no roles. Voter list. We are concerned with conducting it in a peaceful manner. And with peace comes fair elections. So we should understand our role. We should not say that because of police the election is successful. It's a multitask agency. The Election Commission of India is the right body to take credit of any elections. Prevention is better than cure. All old concepts coming to use. If you have taken due precautions before the election, things will be fine. If not, you cannot control during elections. Challenges. Police leadership. Police has to rise above their localized view. They are doing a constitutional duty. We have to create a police leadership which views election as a professional duty, not as a duty in which you have to support one ideology versus the other ideology. This is totally unconstitutional. Second challenge which police, I feel, is that extremist area, how to conduct election. I have conducted elections in Khammam, in extremist area, Born in Chhattisgarh. So I know the difficulties. Professionalism has to be there, otherwise you will have casualty in elections. And a police personnel, and that is quite demoralizing. So that challenge has to be accepted professionally. Third is that at times you will get a lot of few men and a big election to cover. You have to know the principle, as a good student knows. क्या पढ़ना है, क्या नहीं पढ़ना है. When you are faced with that precarious situations, you read better 3 questions rather than not knowing what to read. So at that time when less force and big opportunity is there, you utilize your force correctly. The challenge of indoctrination and polarization, that police has to take in mind. That's very, very important. Until unless we don't control this indoctrination and polarization aspect, which happens in a constituency, things are going to turn very, very ugly. Anyway, elections, marriage will take place, but it will have a very sad taste. For police future challenge, the challenge lies more in the cyber media than in the actual ground. Police the cyber media. Look there. Most of the people, we people have become hypocrites. We are not exposing ourselves in the real ground, but we are exposing us in virtual field, thinking that anonymity gives us more power. Anonymity is powerful. So control that cyber media where the real electioneering takes place. Then road ahead. What is the road ahead? Road is that if any electoral reforms is to be there, police should be consulting, because it is one of the most operational important part of electoral reforms. Electoral reform does not only belong to theoretical aspect of electioneering, it becomes a part of operational strategy too. So police should be consulted in future for any electoral reforms. With the coming of artificial intelligence, machine learning and other things, things are going to be too technical and too good also. At that, police has to rise up to the occasion to know the technical aspect of this field. With artificial intelligence use, you can be able to pinpoint the problem that is going to happen with your predictive analytics, with your tools, and you are going to pinpoint your forces right up to the where they can be deployed efficiently with this artificial intelligence and predictive analytics and big data analytics. That police should know. The next road ahead is online. Suppose in future, if online voting is allowed, as blockchain is spreading 10 years down the line, everything will be authenticated. Even banking will cease to exist. Only blockchain will authenticate your identity. If that happens, voting too will become authenticated by blockchain and other related technologies online. So the role of policing will be not in the ground, but in the cyber field. As a cyber cop, you have to chase the cyber criminals. If certain cyber security breaches have taken place or not, that police should be prepared for. Lastly, I don't know, maybe 20 years down the line, humanoids like Sophia will take control of the elections. They will conduct elections. What is so great about it? We stand at the polling booth, we deploy forces, the robots can also do the same thing. It's just a matter of data, it's just a matter of science. Things look very amusing until unless science doesn't do it. And we become a fool when we feel that science has already achieved it. So let us not think that we are the only custodians of elections. I don't owe any, what you say, claim to the fact that police does elections and police will be the one who is doing elections. I am waiting for the day when Sophia will do elections. Thank you.
Thank you so much.